This isn't an intro. I don't really know how to do those. But think of this as me telling you, whatever it is you're listening on, about how I feel. About how I've been feeling for a while now. This, if you call it an intro, this is an entrance to my mind. What you'll be listening to. What you'll be taking in. Trying to understand and comprehend. This is my mind. Half of it, at least. Conversations are tiresome. Not because words are ugly, but because they leave my mouth as one thing and arrive in someone else's hands as another. Conversations promise connection the way a bridge promises safe passage. Yet sometimes halfway across, I realize the wood beneath me has begun to rot. A single misunderstanding bends the entire moment until it no longer resembles what it was. And somehow, I'm the one expected to quietly step off the bridge before it collapses. I leave without an apology waiting behind me, only silence dressed up as resolution. After enough crossings, even beautiful bridges begin to look like warnings. The strange part is that I still love the idea of people. Before every conversation there is hope, a small fire convinced that this time warmth will survive longer than smoke. I imagine laughter that doesn't need translation, honesty that isn't mistaken for hostility, an understanding that doesn't demand I explain myself until my thoughts are no longer mine. Then the noise grows louder than the meaning. Every sentence asks for another sentence, and eventually even kindness becomes exhausting to carry. I often convince myself that maybe I'm the childish one. Maybe every hurt has an expiration date that I keep forgetting to respect. People say to let things go, as though grief is a bird that simply flies away when the cage is open. But some griefs are more like shadows at sunset. They don't chase you because they have nowhere else to be. Some things stay with us not because we worship them, but because they remind us where the edge is. Sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't have friends at all, and it sounds cruel when written down. But loneliness often disguises itself as practicality before anyone notices what it really is. Keeping people close feels like tending a garden where every flower blooms in a different season, and I am forever convinced I'm watering them wrong. Maybe this is negativity speaking with my voice, or maybe exhaustion has become too fluent that I mistake it for wisdom. I don't know if I'm simply tired, but the weight feels older than today's sadness. It hurts in quiet ways that don't leave bruises anyone can point to. Only a heaviness that settles into ordinary moments until they become difficult to carry. I keep looking back, wondering how years can pass without asking permission to become tragedies. Time is special that way, I suppose. It doesn't always break us in one loud moment. Sometimes it sands away at us grain by grain until one day we mistake the missing pieces for the person we've always been. There are days I think I should walk away before everything becomes another unfinished story. I don't want to leave, and maybe that's the cruelest part, that hope survives even after certainty that it has packed its bags. Some endings arrive like storms, loud enough that everyone agrees they happened. Others arrive like winter, so gradually that you only realize the warmth disappeared after you've already started shivering. Maybe this is one of those endings that never announces itself, only teaches you how to live with colder air. I feel out of place more often than I know how to explain, like a puzzle piece carved from the right picture but the wrong box. Close enough to resemble belonging without ever quite fitting. Maybe feeling misplaced is sometimes less about being wrong and more about searching for a place that hasn't been built yet. I no longer hate myself for feeling this way. The heaviness remains, but it's no longer wearing my face. I have learned that pain and identity are different things, even when they insist on introducing themselves with the same name. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm grieving versions of conversations that never happened, friendships that almost understood me, and years that quietly became strangers. I don't know. I never really do, but maybe not knowing isn't so bad. It's carrying the unanswered questions with enough gentleness that they don't become the only language I know.